welcome back to the Tennessee Project. We got some special guests this time. Y'all might recognize them from the vlogs and from any other videos we've had. It's the Halcombs.
It's the Halcombs.
Daniel and Teresa Halcomb. They're our friends from California that followed us out here. How long have y'all been out here?
About a little over 2 years.
Yeah, going on 3 years.
Going on 3 years.
Going on 3 years? Okay, and we're going on 6. So yeah, I've been wanting to do this for a long time just to get their perspective on out here. Obviously, y'all know our perspective and kind of what we've said and done, but I wanted to make sure we highlight other people. So bringing them on just to kind of just to talk and kind of see what their thoughts are. So you guys originally, you came out and stayed, what, 2 times with us, I think, in the trailer?
I want to say 3.
Maybe 3?
We wanted to make sure we came out for each season.
Because you came out
We did 2 4th
year.
of Julys and we did a Thanksgiving, I believe.
But then you came back in winter by yourself and stayed at that
Oh,
spring.
yeah.
We did that as spring, yes.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to get to
Maybe
see
that's what I'm
all
thinking
the different seasons and see if we really liked the heat.
Or the cold.
Yeah, because that's what everyone says is, okay, the humidity is just unbearable, or
It's
the
not bad.
cold is unbearable. But you guys have seen all the seasons, obviously been here 3 years. Is the humidity the humidity?
No. I'm good.
You good?
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
I think it's easier to
Just-
deal with.
Just got to choose when to know what you're going to do. If you're going to do yard work, do it early.
You want to go, yeah.
Don't do it in the
kayaking-
first thing.
Kayaking or fishing, then
Do it in the morning.
There you go.
Watch,
Don't wait till noon.
Look at the weather app before you go.
Always
Yeah.
look at the weather.
It lies too.
In the rain.
We've been stuck twice on the lake when the weather was supposed to be clear. So
yeah. It changes pretty quick.
Yeah.
So pull that one closer to you, Teresa. There you go.
gonna
Away
be
from Daniel more. 'Cause
steal
he's
the
so
show.
deep voice. He's got such a deep, sultry voice, like his deep calves.
No, his big calf.
His big
Big
calves.
calves.
Oh God.
It's alright, big boy.
I like them.
Big
Yeah.
guy.
I like his calf.
So they, y'all brought 2 kids along also,
Yep.
Same age as yours.
and Lily had graduated already.
Lily graduated. She went to college. So it was kind of it was perfect for us to relocate because it was closer to her because she went to college in South Carolina. And then Daniel was going to be a junior
And
in high school.
How did Daniel take it at first when you guys said you were going to move?
He was ecstatic.
Well,
He was cool.
When
He
we-
wanted to stay with you guys when we started coming out here. And he's like, just let me stay with Matt and Tracy and we'll just send me money and them money for my room and board. I'm like, that's not how it works, bud. So
Smart kid.
he wanted to come a long time ago.
Okay. And then Lily obviously was already out here in school, which
Yeah.
then she decided she didn't want to go that route anymore, so she ended up moving back home.
Yes.
Which was perfect. And she likes it out here?
She likes it. It's been rough because since she didn't go to high school here or do anything, it's kind of hard for her. She didn't have that base friend group.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard for her at first, but she's getting there. So she's getting there. Daniel's doing great though. So they both, none of them have complaints. Before when we would fly back to see family in California, Lily didn't want to come back. She was, she was like, well, I'm going to stay here a little longer, blah, blah. Now when we fly there 2 days in, she's like, I just want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore.
It really helped too that her best friend moved around the same time we did out of California. So, her best friend now their family lives in Georgia, so now she can drive 3 hours to Georgia to go see her best friend.
Which is crazy, like your kid driving 3 hours. Like, I would never, in California.
No.
It took 3 hours.
It took 3 hours, but you're just going maybe 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
Traffic is so you're not
Yes.
moving very far.
Even Taylor driving 6 hours home from college, like the other day was kind of like,
Oh yeah, when Lily would drive home from South Carolina, it was 6, 8 hours, something like that. It was almost the same.
She went during
And she's going through mountains.
storm.
So
She was going on back roads. She went to a very small college in the middle of nowhere in South Carolina. So it was yeah. It was not fun when she said I'm leaving.
So when you guys first came out, you got a rental house
Yes.
in Maryville.
Yep.
Right? And that was kind of at that time where it was post-COVID stuff, so things were still crazy.
It was crazy. We couldn't get a rental. Nobody would rent to us. One person, we actually had a rental. They found out we were coming from California and then said, nope, we're not renting to you. So it was a hard, and then just this guy popped up and you actually went by and I think looked at the house. And
Yeah, we FaceTimed you guys.
yeah. And then we're like, we have to get it because we have to move. We have to be out of our house. So we just, no matter what.
Yeah, you guys were getting close to Judgment Day.
Yeah, we were getting to the point to where we're gonna have to store. We're gonna have to bring everything, put it in storage, and literally live in a hotel until we find something
Oh my
because it
goodness.
was getting that close.
Well, and looking for just like if we had to have that option where we had to rent out in California before we moved out here, like it was crazy insane. What were we looking at? Like $3,000 a month.
It was for
rent?
a 3-bedroom
And these are
apartment.
apartments.
Was $4,000 a month, and that was in a mediocre apartment.
If you were to stay. in
If we were to
California,
stay, because we sold our house 3 months before Lily graduated. So we had to figure out what we're going to do for 3 months. Luckily, the people who bought our house were super cool. They weren't in a hurry to move and told us we could live there for rent free. So we got super lucky. If not, we would have had to move all of our stuff in a hotel and probably live in a hotel for 3 months because nobody wanted to lease. The leases were a minimum of 2 years and then $4,000 a month.
With the dogs
Yeah,
too?
and
Oh
we
yeah,
had
and
a
no
dog,
dogs.
yes.
We would have to figure out somewhere for our dogs to go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. So we just took up that rental as soon as we.
Yeah,
It was what 3 bedrooms, 1 bath.
Hey,
That was rough.
it was.
For-
Tiny.
Hey, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Oh
sometimes.
yeah, no. It was. Yeah, it was. It is what it was. I mean,
Yeah, it worked
It's
out.
better than a hotel room.
But everything, we
Yes.
moved everything in just fine. Like it seemed like it worked out.
It was on, I think, on the hottest day so far of that year.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
It
that
was
very
raining. It was like 100 almost out. It was miserable.
This
And I
was a
was,
good test on the humidity.
yep. And I was just like, if we could deal with this, we're good to go.
I think I
'Cause
remember your brother-in-law and sister-in-law not liking that.
I was like, of all
She
the
didn't.
times for them too.
She's very fair weather. She's definitely a California girl. Grew up there on the beach, so humidity is not her thing.
She was really
My
excited.
brother was cool with it, but
She was really excited to see the lightning bugs.
yes.
That was very cool for her to see.
But that was
Everybody
wrong.
always is.
Nobody believes that they're real.
These are
They just
real.
think it's an animated thing. They
They
think it's a
exist.
unicorn. Like, oh, it's just on
It's just a
TV.
Disney thing. A Disney thing they created.
I think I felt the same way when I first came out. Like, oh, those are real.
Kind of weird when they first come out.
Yeah, it was,
So you were in the rental house for how long?
About a year. Almost. It was almost to a year because our lease was coming up.
Let me go check that dog real quick. You guys keep chatting.
we broke it early.
Yeah, we were gonna be a year. We
We told Mandy.
we had a realtor. She was looking for a place for us, but it was coming up. We had about 2 months, 3 months. She was looking the whole time for us though, and then we finally
We were like, let's do
we
this.
went.
We're done.
Everything we looked at was outbid on, or was just way overpriced according to her. That she wouldn't even. A few places we looked at, she said, "Don't even. It's not worth the money." So we didn't take it. And then her dad was building a house, and luckily, it was perfect for us. So that's what we got into. It
And
kind of
you
just fell
like
in our
living
lap.
out there in 6 Mile.
We are out in the middle, I guess you would say,
On
of
the
nowhere.
boondocks.
To us, out in the middle of nowhere.
It is middle of nowhere, kind of.
We're our nearest grocery store, I guess you would say, convenience place is about 15, 20 minutes to Walmart.
Do you have a Dollar General
It
close by?
takes about
No.
$10. It
No
takes
Dollar
about 10
General?
minutes.
Dollar General's on the other side of
They're
Walmart.
like everywhere.
I don't give it time.
I'm sure
it'll
they'll
land
probably
soon.
put one out there in the middle of somewhere.
Just drop
but-
a
You just
Dollar
gotta drop a
General
bag.
bag,
Yeah.
and then
I
all of a
know.
sudden it'll pop up.
They
It like
say that's where they
sprouts.
pop up is when a Dollar General bag just takes a float and gets littered. That's where it'll pop up
Yes.
next. So
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure one will
it's,
come soon.
It's a whole different ball game coming from where you could reach out and touch your neighbor. Literally, if my neighbor stuck his hand out the window, and you know this, and I stuck my hand out, we could literally touch hands. It was so
Probably could pass
close.
some toilet paper. you
Yes,
know?
it was
Mhm.
crazy
Fence.
close.
Yeah.
And then you come out here, my nearest neighbor is probably 100, 200 yards away.
and now you walk outside and you're scared to dump your trash because there's a bear.
Now
They
I
like
have
the
bear in my
wildlife.
backyard. I mean, we have animals, which I'm ecstatic about. I actually had to get a latch for my trash can.
Did you get one?
I did get one because the
We did,
bears.
Yes, it did get into our trash.
This year we had a mom and 2 cubs. in the back. So it was, seems like they're just getting more and more. I know my neighbor in the very far back, he has 4 bears on his property
But
right
doesn't
now.
he like the bears back there?
Yes. And I don't mind them either. As long as they don't come on my porch, I don't care.
I mean, it's just we're in their habitat.
Oh
so
yeah, I'm
it's-
fully okay with it. I have no problem.
We don't
I'm-
mess with them. They don't
Yeah,
mess with us.
I don't.
And you don't
love
feed
the
them,
wildlife.
right? Like, you know,
No,
some crazy
God,
people
no.
just like feed
No.
Like
them.
the Case Cove, you don't
No.
feed them
No.
No,
Triscuits
no.
and candy snacks.
No.
This is the dumbest thing. Yeah, if you like animals, don't feed them because they'll end up dead
Well, that's the sad thing.
because they
is
become a
end up-
nuisance, and
Yeah,
then
and then they euthanize them.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
fish and
and then
game can't do anything with them, so they just euthanize them.
It's no difference than the idiots in Yellowstone that take selfies with bison.
Yes.
and they get hurt.
Yeah.
And
Well, we see that here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You deserve it. If you're doing that. So.
Yeah.
Now, what about school for little Daniel? Because I know he like struggled a little bit in California with school.
He struggled immensely in California. It
When
was
he came here, he had, I feel, as a teacher's point of view, I feel that he had more support from the teachers instead of, I don't know how to say it. I guess they expected him to fail because, you know, he struggled and out there, and they saw him struggling, and it was just like, well, okay, well, you're gonna struggle kind of thing, not how can we help.
and the class sizes
Yes.
here were
we see him struggling.
smaller.
How can we help? How can we fix
The
this? How
teachers
can we?
immediately, like, they, you know, took it upon themselves and they reached out immediately and were like, hey, you know, he didn't turn in an assignment, or he, you know, and it wasn't like, oh, we're trying to get him in trouble. This is like, no, we're trying to just help him. We want him to be successful, which, thank
Unfortunately
you.
for our son, he liked to do the work and just leave it in his backpack and never turn it in, which
just a
makes
little
no
lazy.
sense to me. But
Typical
guy,
teenager.
yes, I mean, out there, I don't know if it's still the same in the school district he was in. It was so college pushed that if you were not the college type, it was almost like they
Didn't
it
care.
was just there.
Yeah.
They didn't really put the effort into you. When we came here, they asked him straight out, do you want to go to college or do you want to go straight to work? And he said, I want to go straight to work. And they said, perfect. And they actually had stuff lined up for him. Mm-hmm. That would never happen out there. It was, at least from where we were, they never, if you told them you weren't going to go to college, they just kind of looked at you like, oh
Yeah,
God,
wow.
here we go.
Yeah.
Just push him off to the side.
Here
We'll
it is.
next kid up. We're not going to put all this energy and resources into this one. And it was pretty sad, but here, I mean, his teachers were great, smaller class sizes. He went from literally D's and F's to B's and C's, A's sometimes. I mean, it was a shocker. He even surprised himself. So
And that's with wrestling being one of the top state
yes,
wrestlers as well.
he thrived in wrestling. We got him into that in California to kind of get him trying to interested in school, and then it's something that he got on to and thrived in really good. So
When your child comes home and they talk about their teachers in a positive way, that really makes a big difference.
Yeah.
That's what completely shocked me, when he would come home and he would have stories or, you know, an interaction or something that he talked about his teacher about.
almost like they were friends.
He
Yeah.
didn't
in
have
California,
that.
teachers
It was
didn't
crazy.
really talk.
Yeah, it's more of a community, which is really good considering out there. I feel like he also went through like the COVID years too. We were very virtual
Yeah.
when COVID happened. So
Yeah, his freshman year was COVID.
Yeah,
so
so
he
it
literally
was-
was at home. He didn't do anything. He didn't even, I think he only wrestled 4 times. It was a joke.
Did he have to wear a mask?
Some of schools he went against, yes, wore masks. It was
He
ridiculous.
tested.
They tested
Tested him.
every week, which is a joke too.
It's a joke.
And he wrestled some kids that had masks, and if the mask came off, the referee would blow the whistle, have the kid put a mask back on, which, are you kidding me?
because sometimes
And-
wasn't there one where it was
Yeah,
like
it went over the
his
guy's eyes.
Eh,
I mean, it was like, so Daniel was about to pin him and his mask was over his eyes, so the referee stopped the match to make him fix his mask. And I'm like, he was going to get pinned in a second, and
It was a good practice here.
yeah. I think it affected him pretty bad. It wasn't good for him. Virtual is not good for him.
Well, I mean, we're only going to see what's going to happen now. You know, give it a couple more years, what these poor kids went through that time. But
Oh, sure.
I think making that move out here probably, you know, it's probably the best thing for him because Tennessee stayed open, like, for the most part. Like, I mean, there was no restrictions. You know, it was kind of like one of those common sense things. Like, you don't feel good or you don't want to go out, don't go out. You know.
But I also feel like certain schools did have like their crazy stuff, but not all. I think it was more of this like main city, like Knox County.
Yeah. Well, and then
Your
it's
city
all
schools are going to be that way just because of the demographic. But it,
For the most part.
like Lily, she played as Mackenzie played soccer. They wouldn't let him play soccer.
We had to do it. It was like speakeasy.
It was ridiculous. It was like,
speakeasy soccer games that we had
we
to have.
we drove
like,
to Arizona. We drove to Phoenix almost every weekend or every other weekend for jiu-jitsu for Daniel and wrestling, and then for Lily soccer.
So you had to drive to a
We
state.
drove to a different state for them to wrestle and play soccer. I mean, Daniel did a jiu-jitsu tournament there. I think he'd had 4 or 5 matches. He had a total of 3 minutes on the mat because he submitted all the guys so quick. And I was like, we just drove almost 6 hours for 3 minutes. Are you kidding me? I was so...
That's
But I mean, you do that for your kids, but I was like, you got to
Like,
be
you
so...
could've made it
He's
longer.
like, he's like, are we going home? I'm like, no, we're going to stick around and watch because I'm not
Watching
going home.
X-Men else.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving. now.
Yeah, I think that really was our turning point where we were like, this is, I think it was mine when I had to teach virtual and I was like, I am done. We came out here and we saw how a little bit more lenient it was and I was like, I'm done. We need to move. Like, we need to do it for ourselves. I feel like
Well, at that
myself,
time-
I needed the mental break.
Well, at that time, they were talking about actually doing a third shutdown
Yeah.
in California.
Zero to
They never did it, but that was the talk. And we did not want Daniel to lose another year of school, another year of wrestling, all because of that. So that was another. I mean, when
was
she
a-
said, let's
yeah.
move, I didn't think it was going to happen. I mean, when we put our house up, the realtor said it's probably going to be a month before you even get anything.
Yeah.
It's sold in 2 days. It was
It was
not
wild.
what you thought. It was absolutely insane.
Like, could you
I
imagine?
remember like you texting and it was like, well, yeah, the house sold. So, and I remember like you text me, I think, and you're like, hey, maybe check in on your butt. Like,
Yeah.
because I think
We are
things
not
finally
okay.
hit you. Like, hey, like I just sold my house that I've had forever, and this is real. I have
Yeah.
30 days to move across the country now.
Yes, I was like, he needs some somebody to give him a pep talk.
There was a little stress.
It's
There
gonna
was
be
for
okay.
sure some stress because,
He was tired of me saying it's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure
But
this
also,
out.
like, you don't know the unknown. Like, moving
No.
all the way across the states and, like, what's going to happen when you get there? Are you really going to like it? Like,
And I had already been hired before we moved out here.
Well, that's a good transition too. So
Yes.
work wise, so being a school teacher, was it easy to find a job? Was it?
Well, I mean, I just applied for all the places pretty much because I didn't know. I didn't even know how far these schools were
Right.
when I first applied. But I was like, I need a job, so might as well just do it now. And I mean, the school I applied for, they reached out right away, and I got an interview, and I did it while I was at work. And my principal at the time was like really like supportive, and she, she was a big cheerleader for me. So I actually really appreciated that. And I got hired, and I was like, okay. And I remember crying because I was like, this is real. That was my
Like, I have a job in
oh
Tennessee.
crap moment. Like, this is real. His was selling the house, and
My real moment was when I had to resign from work.
Yes.
That was probably the hardest thing.
So yeah, elevator union.
Yes.
Which you had been out there for how long? And
24 years.
was that that's got to be the hardest.
That was the
decision.
hard, besides your friends and family, I mean, obviously that's your number one reason. That was the hardest thing to leave because
You've dedicated that much time.
where I worked at was amazing. The guys I worked with were amazing. My supervisors, everybody who came from the field, everybody was super supportive. I mean, it was really, really good. Everybody wanted to work there.
when you had like the dream.
Yeah, I
route.
literally lived on where I lived, my route was around my house, which is very unusual. I mean, it takes some guys 20 years to get it. I got it in a couple. I mean, I went through a lot of guys to get there, but I mean, a lot of guys retired, and one guy, and the only reason I got it because the guy that had it moved to Texas.
Right.
So then I got that route finally, and I literally had jobs within a mile of the house.
What is it like out
So then
here?
you get out here.
And then I got out here, and I got a lot of pushback, probably because I'm from California. The union really didn't talk to me. They didn't want to hire me. They didn't want to do anything. It was, yeah, we're working on it. And about a year went by, and finally some phone calls were made, and then all of a sudden I got hired within a week. It was pretty,
But are you working?
And I'm not the only one that happened to, so what's that?
And are you working close to home now?
No. Now
What is your
I go to
drive look like?
Virginia, North Carolina.
You can
Goodness.
see a lot of cool things in all these different states.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
the drive might suck
I
sometimes.
mean, the driving doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. It's, I mean, yeah. For, let's see, so my longest drive was probably about an hour and 20 minutes from tip to tip of my route.
in California?
So, I mean, that's like driving to Gatlinburg from my house because of all the back roads.
Yep.
So we do a lot of work up there. I mean, anything with an elevator, I mean, we're there. So,
Right.
and that's just because our office, the other offices in this area don't do that. They're just local.
Right.
They're a lot smaller, but they just do East Tennessee.
And UT definitely keeps you busy.
I was
Yes.
going to say,
The
Daniel
elevators are
is
terrible.
always at UT.
That's a fun time.
They
Yeah.
should probably update those, but they're going to spend their money elsewhere.
It's all right. We beat Vandy. Maybe there'll be some money in there
Oh, there you
for
go.
the upgrade.
They could
They're getting
fix it.
5 new ones there, so don't worry.
Maybe
There you go.
the elevator to the concourse will be done by next season.
Maybe.
Maybe.
The freight elevator.
The freight
I doubt it.
elevator.
So that covers kids. You guys now just you love the outdoors.
Yes.
You're like us. Like you guys love to go camping. We love to go stagecoach festivals like that, country music, all that kind of stuff. What's your feedback on just the country out here and the environment?
Well, like I said, I feel like I'm living a vacation.
Right.
Like this is something that you would, like come out and you would go on vacation. You would go paddleboarding or you go, sit on the lake during the summer, obviously.
What are your thoughts on the lakes out here compared to California lakes?
Oh, God.
Well, first of all, you don't have to pay a fee.
You don't have to pay a fee to get in.
You can just literally, there's
There's
so
a
many.
lot less traffic. I know that one time we were out here with you, I remember laughing. You were on the boat, and I think it was 4th of July weekend or something. You're like, sorry for it's real crowded out here. I started laughing. I was like, Matt, do you not
Really?
remember what the Colorado River was
I
like?
remember.
Do you remember? And we all kind of were laughing. I was just like, this is nothing compared to how bad it was out there. And it was just because there was very few lakes, and all the ones they built, they said they were going to use, they decided to change their mind and say you couldn't touch the water.
Right.
That's how they got all those lakes passed. And then when it came time, they said, oh, no, never mind. You can't do it. So it put a lot of constraints on all the other lakes and hurt them. So coming out here, it is night and day. You don't have to pay. You don't have to get your boat inspected every single time.
How's the fishing?
Fishing is different. Fishing is a lot different. I probably did a lot better there than here. I'm still learning. I still watch YouTube guys fishing out here just to try to pick up on their what they're doing, what they're using.
Oh, but Little Daniel's doing great with fishing.
Little Daniel, yeah, he doesn't think of. I mean, there's certain rules you always, you kind of just abide by. This water's this color, use this kind of lure.
Yeah.
It's this, this color, da da da. That kid just goes out and just wings it and is caught in more fish. I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm doing
That would
anymore.
be my
It's-
cup of tea.
it's-
just-
Yes, he's like, I'm gonna put a hot dog on today. He'll just catch like a 5-pound bass. I'm like, are you freaking kidding
He
me?
puts peanut butter crackers
Yeah,
on
I even told him one time, I'm like, the water's 82 degrees. It's 2 feet deep.
Yeah.
There's not any fish out here. We got to go deeper. And he ended up catching almost a 5-pound bass off Watts Bar. Now I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
His
There you go.
advice.
Yeah,
I
right?
mean,
That's what I
like-
keep telling him.
Maybe
I
take his
just-
advice for once.
I think I caught almost a 3-something pound smallmouth literally at 2 inches off the rocks. Like, I've never caught a smallmouth that close to the bank. It's always been deep or in clear water. This was a muddy back, it shouldn't have been there. But
Well,
it
it's so
was.
funny because I remember, like, I'll call you during the week and I'll be like, I'll give you a call and you won't answer, so then you're like, sorry, I'm out fishing. Like, I'm like, dude, aren't you working or something? But it's that's what it is like, you could just go fishing
Yes.
when you're done with work, or you can go
Yes.
on the lake when we're done with work.
During the
Or-
summertime, there's many times where I've come home and I'm just like, let's go. We'll just throw the stuff in the car and we're at the lake. Where we live now, we're about 10 minutes from a boat ramp
Yeah.
or where we could fish. And we'll just go there and sometimes she'll take her paddleboard and we'll go out and just for an hour or two, just
The
to,
weather first.
Check the weather. Get the weather app and check the weather. So on that then, where would you rate your stress compared to California living?
Oh, psh.
Do you notice, because I was just thinking about it today, like, it's Thanksgiving today. They're over here for Thanksgiving. So I was just thinking about, like, when I made a post, and I'm just like, I'm just thankful for Tennessee and the stress that I don't have anymore, the drama that I don't have anymore, the growing up that I've done out here, I guess. Just that I don't care about impressing anybody anymore. I don't care about the material things. Like, it's more of a bigger picture of life and of everything we've done with North Carolina and helping it. Like, you look to help neighbors. You look to help the community. Like, they look to help you. Like, there is no stress.
There is. My stress is if I'm going to hit another deer when I go places. Okay?
that is something I did not have to worry about.
Stressful driving at
these
night.
back roads.
But that's not like the stress of driving the 405 freeway.
Absolutely.
No, I know. At work, they're like, "Can you believe the traffic today?" I'm just laughing. I was like, "That was going to the corner at my house. That was not bad."
Yeah.
Like, I know traffic is bad. I get it. There's a lot more people here. I fully understand that, but it is still nothing to what we
traffic to go
back
to
there.
Knoxville sometimes could be like 20 minutes, and people are like, "Oh my god, 20 minutes in
Well,
traffic."
it's because
I'm like,
Alcoa Highway has been under construction for 8 years.
Well, that's like a
and
normal.
that's gonna change
I'm
it
glad
up.
that doesn't change with the states because
Right.
that's the same in California. But like I was telling everybody at work, when we used to go somewhere, we would say, "Okay, we have a soccer game at 3. It's going to take us 45 minutes to get there. We got to add at least 45 minutes to 30 minutes of traffic time."
Yeah.
Yep.
Here we just leave.
Yeah.
And it's like you get there and you're like when we were so used to that, we would still do that.
You
Okay.
get there early.
And we get there and we're like, well, hell, we're here 30 minutes early.
Yeah.
Like, so now we kind of are starting to like just leaving when we're supposed to. It's just,
But I feel like there's also a lot of different ways you can go to like one place. Like you
Yeah.
could go to somewhere and take
Yeah,
5 different
back
ways
roads.
to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, where we lived, the 91 was pretty much the only way to
Yeah.
go
You're kinda
unless you
trapped.
went north a little bit and down, which everybody else did too. So, I mean, you were kind of trapped. Yeah.
Use different off ramps,
That-
which everybody else was using.
There was
then
only
cut
one
through,
freeway.
and everyone would get pissed because
Yes.
you go through the neighborhoods.
So the stress is down.
Financially, it's easier here.
Do y'all feel happier?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
For
we
sure.
can literally go out on our porch, and literally, I tell people at work, I can go out on my porch and sit down and look at the Smoky Mountains from where we live, and it's just like, if I did it at my house, I'd be looking at my neighbor,
Probably
but
going to the bathroom.
doing something with his cars, or him walking around in his house, or I mean, it's just, it is so nice just
When I want a break or something, I'm like, I just want to be like, take me home so I can go sit on my porch.
And it's probably peaceful just to sit
Oh,
on
It
the
is very
porch.
Yeah, when my brother came out last time, we woke up and I'm like, "Where's he at?" And he was literally sitting on the porch with coffee, and I'm like, "Oh, you're like a commercial right now."
It's like,
Yeah, and he's like, "Man, I could so do this," and I'm like, "Don't do it," like, but
Yeah.
I
But
know
you
he
also,
can't.
in
But
California, you heard so many cars and sirens and
Oh yeah.
everything else.
What
Out
is it?
here, you don't really hear that very often. You hear like wildlife.
Remember when we went to Christmas for the first
oh my
time
God, we
out
couldn't
there?
go to sleep.
Yeah, it was so loud, and we're like, "What is that noise?" And then Daniel was like, "That's like the third ambulance that we've heard." And I was like, "Since we've been here, we've only been here for like 2 days. Why is there so many ambulances?" And I think we just forgotten.
used to it.
Yeah, we've forgotten about
Yeah.
that
What about helicopters?
noise.
Oh, and there's none.
We heard one last night. We're like,
I've only heard
like,
of
Yeah,
there used to
I
be choppers every night.
yeah, I was talking to a guy the other day at work. We were working over at the Army Reserve and at the helicopters, and I was telling him how there, every single night we could look up and see helicopters.
Yeah.
And I know we lived next to the municipal airport, but there was helicopters nonstop, mostly traffic helicopters. Then you had police helicopters.
Yeah.
We're closer, well, we weren't close to Pendleton, but they would fly over all the time and do maneuvers up in the mountains there. So it was always helicopters.
Yep.
Here you hear a helicopter and I'm like, well, somebody died on the Dragon.
Yeah.
They're going to go
Yeah.
get somebody off the
It's a
Dragon.
Or they're
Serious thing.
rescuing.
Yeah, it's
somebody
life
out of the
flight.
smoke.
It's something bad. Yeah, it's now it's like, oh, when we hear an ambulance now, we're like, oh crap.
This must be real.
This must, I swear to God, this year we've probably maybe heard 4, 5.
yeah. I mean, we've had.
If we hear
police-
cops on the road, we're like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
should we go see?
We'll
we
look
get in
at
the car,
each other.
follow them? Like, what's going
we
on?
turn our like,
we
we
need some
mute the
entertainment.
TV because we're like, is that on the TV?
Yeah.
Is that? Oh no, that's our house. Like, what's going on? And then you just drive by and we're like, okay.
So stress is down, happier. How's your relationship together? Do you think it's better out
Oh
here?
gosh.
Yes.
Oh really? Just kidding.
Oh, really?
It
I
is.
mean, our relationship as the four of us has grown closer. We go to Joe all the time.
Yeah.
No, because I can just see it in couples when they come out. I can even speak to just us. We are better out here.
Oh.
Like,
I think
we
it's
didn't
just there's a
have-
lot less stress at work, so you don't bring it home.
Yes.
I mean, there's stress at work no matter what you do, but there's a lot. The sitting in the traffic, that was probably my biggest thing when I worked in LA. I'd sit in traffic for over an hour every day. You know that too.
I was gonna say.
And you get home, you're already in a pissed off mood. And especially if you listen to certain radio stations, they even get you more fired up. And you get home, and I literally jump on the computer and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just got to decompress. And I'd play Call of Duty where I shoot people for like an hour just to decompress. And then I'd be like, okay.
But on top of that, then you got to go to soccer.
Yes.
Then you gotta do
Usually
dinner.
that's what it was. I'd come
Then-
straight home and
Go
yeah.
to soccer.
Then you're in bed at 10, 11, and then doing it all over
Well,
again.
and then you got to come home from soccer if you don't eat fast food and make dinner.
And then usually we both went, so we did a lot of fast food.
Yeah, fast food was a big one all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not convenient here.
Yeah, there's no convenient for us. I mean, fast food convenient for us. It's like we go by and pick it up. By the time we get home, it's cold.
Yeah.
It's
You might as well just make dinner at home.
yeah,
at that point.
it's
Yeah, and going back to the relationship thing, I think it's really different too that the kids are older, so now we have more.
there's not
Us
every
time.
weekend is weird now. We don't go to
Right.
so this last year Daniel graduated, so we don't have the wrestling meets. We don't have everything that he did. So
Yeah.
now it's on the weekends. I'm like, what are we gonna do this weekend? What? You know,
Let's
like,
go
okay,
on a
let's go
hike.
hike. Let's
Let's
go
go-
fishing.
Yeah.
Let's go try this new place. Let's go scout. I'm gonna go scout over here for deer season. It's just different.
Well, and it's crazy because and I
Sorry.
mention it a lot, you know, like the key to, you know, if anyone says like Babs and I have a good relationship or something, it's like, well, you just got to date him again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's honestly like we're dating again. Like, it's so funny when we go to Joe, it's the four of us there.
Well, I
and it's
must be
like,
dating Daniel. 'cause I sit at the table
Yeah,
while
I think people
Daniel-
probably get the wrong impression of
Daniel
us.
and I think we're together, and then you two are together.
it's Tracy and Daniel at the tables and me and Teresa on the dance floor.
Hey,
but
so-
we can hold down that table pretty
Yeah.
well.
Somebody's gotta
we
I make
do-
sure no one steals the phones. Okay.
We do people watch. I mean, we
That's
have
my
a
number one
lot
thing.
of good people watching.
That's the only reason we went to go to Disneyland at the end. I mean, we just people watched. I didn't go.
we need to go to Dogwood.
Yes.
Did you
Now that
see?
it's holidays.
Oh
we
man,
got
they said
to
it was
go.
2 hour wait just to get in the other day. For
Oh
parking.
my god, I'm not surprised.
Or an hour.
Not surprised.
That's
just to
gotta
get
be
in.
because the holidays.
Okay,
Yes.
speaking on hunting, I do have a question about hunting because I got a really interesting topic the other day. Have you ever seen the deer with a female and male part at the same time?
I think
Huh?
it would happen.
You mean the doe that has antlers?
No, it like had a
Both.
uterus and penis.
This is
Well-
this is a family channel.
Really? Well, no, because really
I
in
really
this
need
state,
to know if this
this
is a
state
thing
really
that
doesn't
exists.
matter because you can take depending what county and you know
feel like
your
this is
regulations
getting
of where you
political.
live. No, you can take a doe or a buck.
No, but
Like in
like,
California, you can't do that. If it has antlers, I mean, it's got to be a
so
40.
you've never killed a deer that has both parts.
No.
So is it even?
It's not like
a
I've killed
real thing?
100 deer either. I came from California. It was freaking hard to even
Because
see a
this
deer. So
girl-
It was
Dad
a
went-
transgender deer then.
This girl's dad went hunting and shot his daughter shot a deer that had male and female parts. And when he gutted it, it had like the uterus,
Huh, no.
and it also had the.
Well,
I
how
mean,
does he
turkeys
tag
grow
that?
beards, so I mean,
how does he
a hen
tag
grows a
that?
beard.
So would it be good to eat? I mean,
If
like,
it didn't have antlers, I'd probably milk it as a doe.
Well, because you have to tag
No, it
that
did
as-
have antlers though too.
Then you mark it as a buck.
Oh shoot!
So it's like a hermaphrodite.
Yeah.
deer?
Dang,
Whatever.
The deer community is following in suit now. They're
I mean, I just had the question since
I
you're a
have
hunter.
since I've lived here. I've seen a piebald deer and I've seen an all white deer.
I've never seen an all white.
I've seen an all white deer over off the construction off of Alcoa Highway, and then I've seen a piebald deer over by our house. And Daniel's seen a all white raccoon too.
we seen that all white turkey.
We
Oh,
did see
we
an all
did
white
too.
turkey.
Oh, we did too in Kate's Cove.
Kate's
Let's go, yeah.
I'm like, did someone let their pet turkey go out here?
Local.
And then on the very tips, it had little brown. I was like, probably
Kind
not.
of crazy.
Yeah.
But have you shot a deer here yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, got one.
Lily had a shot this morning. She it was right when you could start shooting, and she couldn't find it in her scope. And then later on, I looked at her scope when she looked down, and she had that thing turned all the way up to 6, and all she probably saw was brown.
But
So by the
she's
time
also
I turned the
colorblind.
magnifying down, I said, "Look through it now." She's like, "I can see everything." I'm like, "Yeah."
that's
I probably should have checked that before. My fault. I mean, but yeah,
Yeah, she was up this morning before.
she was up before me,
Ready
so
to go.
we went out there.
Will you shoot one on your own property?
Yeah, that's where we shot last year.
Oh, that's where you shot it last year.
Yeah, that's where we were this morning. It's
Time is it?
5 minutes.
Oh, we got 5 minutes to dinner. All right.
well,
Let's go
Well, I'm
eat some
hungry,
dinner.
so.
Got some tamales.
All right, well, good. That was a good start to this. I'd like to do this more and get more in depth, just on stuff. And obviously, if any of y'all have questions or comments or anything else, just drop comments below.
Oh,
You can
boy.
email questions or whatever.
and we're not here to change the way y'all live either. So just
We like the way everyone lives out here.
yeah,
Please, somebody ask about your calves.
no.
Yes. He really
You
does
better send a
have
lot of
some
money
nice
if you want
calves.
pictures.
I got some pictures.
Oh, we got tons of pictures of calves. So, all right, well, this will air obviously after Thanksgiving, but hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving and enjoy this holiday season going into Christmas now. It's crazy how fast things go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's already going to be Christmas and then 2025 and then
Mackenzie will be 21. And
So
so will
will
Lily.
Lily will be 21.
we have a new president. Things are just Trump dance. But yeah, but thank y'all for watching and listening. I'm trying to go all Spotify now, so we have video and audio on Spotify as well as it'll go on YouTube too, or any of the other streaming platforms that y'all like. But give us a like, share, and follow on any of the platforms, and we appreciate y'all. Again, hope you have Thanksgiving.
Happy
And,
Thanksgiving.
that's it.
Thank y'all.